Are you ready to speak confidently in English? Well, I have some good news. Today, you are going to learn 15 important English phrases for confident English speakers. Hi, I'm Vanessa from SpeakEnglishWithVanessa.com. And like always, I have created a free PDF worksheet with all 15 of these important confident English phrases, definitions, sample sentences, and at the bottom of the worksheet, you can answer Vanessa's challenge question so that you never forget what you're about to learn. You can click on the link in the description to download this free PDF worksheet today. It is my gift to you so that you can become a confident English speaker. I came up with the idea for this English lesson because of a problem that I had recently. I was having a conversation in French, which is the second language that I've learned, and I was having trouble thinking of those little phrases that you say in the middle of a conversation. It's not the content of what you're saying, it's those little phrases, and when you can say them, you seem more confident and you feel more confident as well because you're actively engaging in the conversation and connecting with another person. So I hope that this lesson fills that for you so that you can speak confidently and have those types of conversations where you can feel proud of yourself. The first phrase for confident English is, I hear you. Take a look at this sentence. I hear you, but maybe there's a better way to handle this without creating more tension. Well, you are acknowledging what the other person said, and you're providing a different perspective. But this phrase, I hear you, is showing that you can confidently assert your opinion in a polite way. I hear you, but what if we come up with a different idea? Great phrase. The second phrase for confident English is, let me tell you. I love using this. Take a look at this sample sentence. Let me tell you, the tacos at that food truck are the best I've ever had. You could just say, those tacos are great. But if you want to level up your English and show that you are confidently telling someone about a great experience you had, you could insert this phrase, let me tell you. You want to get their full attention. Let me tell you, those tacos are the best I've ever had. The third phrase for confident English is one that I use often in my daily life, and that is, fair enough. So my husband Dan works at a school. He's with children all day. It's a busy day. He comes home. We have 3 children. It's a busy home. And then at the end of the day, if I say to him, hey, do you want to go out and do something else? He might say to me, I am just so tired. I don't want to do anything else. I can use this phrase. Fair enough. Let's just stay at home. Fair enough. It means I understand where you're coming from. Fair enough, let's just stay home. Phrase number 4 for confident English is somewhat similar. That makes sense. That makes sense. You're acknowledging that what the other person said makes sense. So when Dan comes home after a busy day, he's home with the kids, he's active with them, he's playing with them, he helps with dinner. Oh, he's so tired at the end of the day, and he says, I have no more energy to do anything else. I can say, that makes sense. You've had a long day, and me too. That makes sense. The fifth phrase for confident English is, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you brought me food after I had a new baby. There is nothing nicer than getting a fresh meal after you've had a new baby. And one way to confidently express your gratitude is to say this, I appreciate that you brought me food after I had a new baby. I needed that so bad. Thank you. Do you see how these short little phrases are helping you to assert yourself, to share your opinion, whether it's positive or negative or thankful, and you're able to really express yourself better with these phrases? Let's go on to the next one. The sixth phrase for confident English is, let's get to it. Here you are taking control of the situation. Let's get to it. We've been talking about painting that room for weeks. Let's do it now. This is true. My husband and I are planning on painting our bathroom. I think we're going to paint it kind of an orangey red color, make it nice and bright and exciting. We've been talking about it, but we haven't done it. So if I want to assert myself and be confident, I could say, let's get to it. We've been talking about it. Let's do it now. The seventh phrase for confident English is a great one. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Do you know what beg is? Usually that means when you go like this, oh, please, 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 please. You are begging. You are asking for something. But here, when we use this full phrase, I beg to differ, you are politely and confidently asserting that you have a different opinion. You are not begging someone. You are just telling them, I have a different opinion and I'm going to confidently and politely tell you that. So for example, last week, my family and my kids were just kind of in a bad mood. You know, that's happened sometimes. Everyone just wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And I said, I think we need to go for a hike. We just need to get out and be in nature. And my husband, Dan, said, oh, it's so much work to help the kids get out of the house, get dressed, their shoes. And I said, I beg to differ. I think we need to be outside. We need to go on a hike. And that hard work preparing for the hike will be worth it because we'll all have better attitudes once we get out of the house. So I can use this, I beg to differ, to politely and confidently show that I have a different opinion. And you know what? We went on a hike. It was a lot of work to get there. There was a lot of complaining and grumbling. But when we got there, it was so nice and refreshing to be out in nature. Phrase number 8 for confident English is, what do you think? Sometimes, what do you think of? What do you think about? Take a look at this. What do you think about taking a trip to the beach this weekend? What do you think about taking a trip to the beach? Do you see here how we are confidently asserting an idea or an opinion that we want? I want to go to the beach this weekend, and I'm asking your opinion. What do you think about going to the beach this weekend? Sometimes we use the preposition of. It can be interchanged with about. What do you think of going to the beach this weekend? But I find that I personally use this more often with just a noun. What do you think of this shirt? What do you think of this house? What do you think of this restaurant? But it can be interchanged with about as well. The 9th phrase for confident English is, I couldn't agree more. Here we have an agree meter, and you are at the top. There is no possible way that you could agree more because you have already reached the top. I agree so much that I am already at the top. So you could use this by saying, oh, I love this coffee shop. I couldn't agree more that this is the best coffee ever. If you go to a coffee shop and your friend says, this coffee is amazing, you might say, I couldn't agree more. I love this coffee. You are confidently asserting, I agree. Yes, this is the best coffee ever. Confident phrase number 10 is, that's a great point. That's a great point. Take a look at the sample sentence. When Dan and I were talking about painting our bathroom, we were talking about paint colors, all of the details for painting, and then I thought, oh, we probably need to think about fixing the holes in the wall or little imperfections in the wall before we paint the wall. And Dan used this phrase, that's a good point. Let's do some research about that. He was agreeing with me, oh, that's a good point. We're not just painting the wall. We should probably fix up any scratches or dents or problems in the wall before we paint it. That's a good point. I love that phrase. The 11th phrase for confident English is, I'll look into it. I will or I'll look into it. Let's imagine that you want to go to your dream concert and you look up tickets and realize, oh no, these are so expensive. There's no way I can afford it. Well, your friend who wants to support you might say, I'll look into it and see if I can find cheaper tickets for the concert. I'll do some research, but instead of saying I'll do some research, they're confidently asserting themselves and trying to help you. I'll look into it and see if I can find us cheaper tickets. I'll take on that responsibility. The 12th phrase for confident English is, how can I help? How can I help? You can already get the sense that you are confidently trying to reach out and support someone else. So this morning, when I needed to film these videos, my husband Dan said this to me, how can I help so that you can film these videos easily? How can I help? I can watch the kids, I can try to make the house quiet, I can make you some breakfast. How can I help so that you can film these lessons for your students? It is a group effort every time that I film lessons for you. There are many moving parts, and his support is part of that. And he said this confident phrase, "How can I help?" so that you can easily film lessons for your students. A common fixed phrase that we use with this smaller phrase is, "How can I make this easier for you?" What a beautiful phrase to say to someone who's having a busy or chaotic moment in their lives. You can reach out to them and say, "Hey, how can I make this easier for you?" And they might say, "Oh, I'm so hungry. Can you please bring me a snack?" Great, you can do it. Or, "Oh, there's really nothing you can do right now, but thank you for caring." Okay? You're trying to reach out and ask, "How can I help and make this easier for you?" You see how this is confidently reaching out, confidently trying to connect with someone else in your life. Love those phrases. The 13th confident English phrase is, "I get where you're coming from." I get where you're coming from. We're using this casual word get instead of I understand. You could say I understand where you're coming from, but it's more common to say I get where you're coming from. What does this mean, where you're coming from? Does it mean a location you have just arrived from? No, instead we're talking about someone's point of view. So let's imagine that your friend's boyfriend just cheated on her. What a terrible situation. You want to comfort your friend, and your friend says, "I just don't think I can trust anyone anymore. How am I ever supposed to get past this and trust people?" You could use this phrase, "I get where you're coming from. It's so hard to trust people after your trust has been betrayed. I get where you're coming from." You're not trying to change her mind or really offer much solid advice. Instead, you're just connecting with her in this confident way. I get where you're coming from. I understand your point of view. I get where you're coming from. It is hard to trust people after your trust has been betrayed. You can use this phrase to offer another point of view if you want, of course, depending on the situation. Sometimes it's good just to simply comfort your friend, but you could say something like this, "I get where you're coming from, but I'm sure there will be someone else important in your life that you can trust someday." So you're saying the word "but" after this phrase. I get where you're coming from, but there are many fish in the sea, as we say. There are other people in the world that will potentially be a good fit for you, who you can trust. But that's a great way to kind of pivot here. I get where you're coming from, but you know what? He's not the only guy in the world. There will be other people. The 14th, almost the final, important confident English phrase is, "Let's talk about it later." You are controlling the conversation by saying, "Nope, not now," but in a polite way. So when I was in college, I had this friend who would always talk during movies. It was so annoying. I just wanted to watch the movie, and they kept talking or asking questions, and let's just watch the movie. I used this phrase, "Hey, let's talk about it later. Let's just watch the movie right now." Let's talk about it later. I want to just focus on the movie and zone out. Let's talk about it later. Our final but still important confident English phrase is, "Keep me in the loop." A loop here means that you want to be connected to some information. Keep me in the loop. Take a look at this sample sentence. Keep me in the loop if plans change. I want to make sure I can be prepared. Keep me in the loop. This is talking about maintaining contact with someone. And instead of assuming that they'll tell you updates about the plans, you are confidently asserting yourself and saying, "Hey, keep me in the loop. I want to make sure that you inform me about any changes. Keep me in the loop if there's any changes, and that way I can be prepared." Now, this phrase is a phrase that you can use in daily English conversation. It sounds like it might be formal, but you know what? You can use this in daily life. Keep me in the loop if anything changes. I want to make sure that we can get together and spend time together or go out to dinner. Keep me in the loop. The weather seems a little strange today. We might cancel. Just keep me in the loop. Well, there you have it. 15 important phrases for confident English conversations. Don't forget to download the free PDF worksheet for today's lesson with all 15 of these confident phrases, definitions, multiple sample sentences, And at the bottom of the worksheet, you can answer Vanessa's challenge question so that you never forget what you've learned and you can be confident the next time that you have a conversation in English. You can click on the link in the description to download this free PDF worksheet today. It is my gift to you. Well, thank you so much for learning English with me, and I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! But wait, do you want more? I recommend watching this video next, where you will learn some key phrases that I use every day in my daily life, including, what do you think it means if I said, let's call it a day? Oh, well, you'll find out in that lesson, and I'll see you there.